Hello, I'm Chris. This is Gross Models. Welcome to the first part of the build of the Galaxy rover, the Galaxy RVR from Sunfounder. In this video, we've had a look at the parts on it in the last one. If you haven't seen that already, go back and watch that. This time, I'm going to be doing the building. I think I'm probably going to be doing the entirety of the build in this, but it might be spread out over 2 videos, depending on how it goes. I'll also be having a look at the course, because not only does this kit come with all the parts required and a sheet of instructions, there is an online element to it, which has got some quite interesting and I'm not entirely sure about course notes and activities in there. I'm not obviously going to be doing all of the activities and things, but we'll certainly have a look at what is going to be happening on there if you do want to proceed and do it yourself. So let's have a look, first of all, at lesson 1 on the course. Right, first of all, we've got the About This Kit page, which basically, as you might have guessed, tells you about the kit. That's obviously the rover that we're going to be building. Yeah, little bits about there, talking about the different courses. There are 2 ways of doing this, as far as I can tell. You can use play mode or course mode. Play mode is basically just a quick, here's how you build it, here's how you use it. Course mode is the one that I'm going to be looking through in more detail. This is going to be, say, other activities and information surrounding the kit itself. As it says, the Galaxy RVR isn't just a toy, but a gateway to Mars, an educational tool, and a catalyst for limitless imagination. It looks like it's going to be quite good. So yes, links to all of it obviously in here as hyperlinks. The hardware that you've got in there, camera boards and ultrasonics modules and things like that. So let's have a look at, well, play mode, as I say, is basically just going to be quick overview and then some notes and a quick guide on how to build it. And then information on how to download the settings, the code and everything else, and the app, which is useful. I shall scan through it, no doubt, but I'm not going to be using that for the normal information. I shall, first of all, be going to course mode. Now, this is the one that everything's going to be happening in, and it does look really quite involved and quite interesting. As it says, welcome to course mode, your structured journey through 13 enlightening lessons. Even looking at the video of it, I'm excited to build this. It looks so very cool. Insect oil type wheels and the I can't remember what they call it now. The rocker boogie system is what they call it, or rocker bogey system. I'm not entirely certain. I've not heard it said. I've only seen it in print. Yeah, it tells you whether you're a novice or advanced, then this is what you need to do. So lesson the first is just an unveiling the Mars rover. Objectives of what you're going to be doing, materials you require, pretty much what it gives you on here. Talking about what are Mars rovers. Obviously, they're the rovers that they send to Mars. The history of the Mars rovers is in here, coming up soon. Can you imagine what it'd be like to navigate through such a rugged terrain? So the history of the Mars rovers is very, very interesting. I haven't actually watched the video there. This is the mission to Mars. Let's click on it and see exactly what it says.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It's only 2 minutes, so we'll listen to all
most eyes
this.
were focused on the moon landing in the 60s, NASA was also beginning to explore Mars from space.
The Mariner 2 countdown begins.
Starting in 1965, NASA began sending orbiters like Mariner and Viking to gather close-up images and data. 30 years later, the first Mars exploration rover was launched. On July 4th, 1997, the Mars Pathfinder lander and the Sojourner rover successfully landed on Mars. The small, 25-pound, 6-wheeled rover, only designed to last a week, would end up spending 83 days capturing 550 pictures and taking atmospheric measurements from the planet's surface. In 2004, twin rovers Spirit and Opportunity landed, a few weeks apart and in different locations. These rovers were about the size of a golf cart, weighing 400 pounds each, and had the same mission: to understand the evolution of Mars and see if liquid water ever existed there. Spirit stopped communicating in 2010, but Opportunity lived well beyond expectations until it stalled in a dust storm 14 years later.
Liftoff of the Atlas V with Curiosity.
In 2012, NASA launched a larger and more technologically advanced rover. It's about the size of a Mini Cooper, weighs 2,000 pounds, and is equipped with 17 cameras and lab-like tools and instruments. Curiosity is still active today, in search of evidence that Mars is, or ever was, capable of sustaining microbial life. In the summer of 2020, the rover Perseverance will join its predecessors on the Red Planet. Perseverance is similar to Curiosity, but with upgrades like camera zoom capability and a drill for collecting rock and soil samples. The rover will also have the ability to conduct an oxygen-making experiment. And another first, a helicopter scout named Ingenuity will hitch a ride with Perseverance and take its first test flight in the Mars atmosphere. All paving the way to one day putting humans on Mars.
Very, very cool. I didn't realize they were so big, but that was interesting. So yes, the summarizer of the Mars rovers: Sojourner from 97, obviously there with the little rover, which is basically what we're building. Although hopefully ours will last a lot longer than a week, or indeed the 80 odd days that one lasted, as according to that video. Spirit and Opportunity, I do remember there being talk about. Very cool rovers they were. Curiosity, yeah, it's still going strong. I believe it's still going strong now. Perseverance is obviously still going strong, and indeed had the flying. I can't remember what they called that now. It's on there somewhere. I don't remember. Ingenuity, that was it. There you go. Yeah. So that's that. Right. So they have an activity, which is where I get a little bit confused about this model, this kit. Draw your own Mars rover. It looks very cartoony, what they've sort of done already. So I'm not sure what age group this is aimed at. Some of it is advanced, and some of it is very, very simple. I don't know, but I'm not going to bother doing that bit. I'm not going to draw it myself. I don't need drawing paper, pencils, and erasers. So yeah, it tells you how to do it and present your designs to the reflection and conclusion. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not going to do that, but that's listen the first. The second one is again another interesting one. These seem to be very good. I flicked through a few of these, but not all of them. This is the Rocker Boogie system, the first thing that we're going to be building, which I shall be building myself very soon. Yeah, basically it's a special way of having 6 wheels that will handle pretty much any terrain that you throw at it. It's got very clever rocker system and a sub rocker, as it were. So yeah, so this is to understand the design principle of it. So yeah, raveling, yeah, it's got scientific stuff about how far it is, where the balance of weight is, and everything else. And see it in action, obviously, once it's built, when you've got wheels on it, but it's going to be able to do things like that, which enables the main body to stay horizontal, while the rest of the wheels just go up and down, independent of, say, terrain on left and right side. So it'll go over single rocks, lots of rocks, and everything else. There are build videos, which I shall glance through, but I'm mainly going to be following the paper instructions on these, because it's just easier for me to do. But yeah, so I think what I should do now is go and get that built before we have a look at the next step, which is the world of Arduino and coding. Okay, we've got some parts ready to build this Rocker Boogie system. Musical, even though it isn't. This is the main chassis piece. We haven't really had a look at these parts as yet, but this is the main chassis piece, which everything else is basically going to be fitted to. It's aluminium, as are all of these parts, apart from these. These are acrylic washers, And the one thing you need to remember with these, which I completely forgot about when I was building my 3D printer, is that they have paper on them. So what you need to do before you assemble these pieces is to remove from them the paper protection pieces, which should come off quite easily, but obviously are going to be a pain. So I shall, when I come to do these, I shall stop and remove the paper backing from them behind the scenes, as I will for all of the acrylic pieces. There you go. One side of this has that, and the other side is exactly the same. You're going to use a sharp thing to do it. Try not to scratch it, and try not to stab yourself. That, can I get that now? Not so bad, but I shall do the others behind the scenes. So they're transparent acrylic washers, which I shall be using momentarily. But first of all, we've got to start off with this. So I've sorted out the screws in the right places for the right things. We've got to put on these two brackets first. Using these M3x6 screws, we need 2 on each side, 2 screws on each side holding each bracket in place. So if I can get 4 of these out the packet, 3 and 4. Keep that aside because we'll be using more of those later. That goes on there like that. What I'll actually do is I shall build up one side of this on camera, then get the others done behind the scenes. So using the supplied screwdriver, which is quite nice. These go on there. These don't have a direction or indeed a matter as to which side is which, because they are identical and they're the same up and down as well. So that needs to go on there like so. Tighten that down nicely and fully like that. And then we have to build up another little sub-assembly using these. We need now washers and self-locking nuts. I'll get a couple of these out. Actually, I'll get 4 of these out because I'm going to need more for the other side momentarily as well. 4 of these as well. These are just plain metallic washers. 3 more of them. Come on, out you come. So then we need these 3x10mm screws. Going to be using a few of those for parts of the build, but I'll just get out the couple that I'm going to be using immediately. And what we need to do is fit this, which is this side, with the pointy end going towards the front, and that goes on there like that. So we've got a screw that goes through there, then through a washer, then through there, and thusly into that. This is where the again supplied tools come into play. That on there, and the screwdriver on the other side. Now this, like all of the other attachment points, you need to do up nice and tight, and then loosen them off a little bit, because it needs to be able to turn. So once that's tight, you can then loosen it just a touch, just so that's free to rotate there. It doesn't say anything about lubrication. I don't think it needs it. So that will be fine like that, I'm pretty sure. So that's that. Obviously, again, the same the other side, but let's move on and this to that. Pretty sure side is which. Yeah, this is this side. So this needs the longer screws, 25 screws, which then again goes through there. Then a washer. Then through there and there. And on the inside of that, another nut. Can't get that nut on there, so let's do it the easy way and put it into the wrench. That on there, that in there, and that then tightens up through that one. This does in fact have an R and an L on those. They do matter which one's which. So pretty sure I've got it the right way around, but I will double check before I do the other side. So that is that. I need to tighten that down again. Actually, I'll do that now. I'll be doing enough off camera that I might as well do this on camera for you. So we get that again tightened fully and then loosened off. Just a quarter turn is probably more than enough. That is still got a way to go. You know it's tight when it doesn't move. Then when that has just a quarter turn, probably enough. Maybe a little bit more than that on that one. That needs to be a little bit looser than that, I think. This being the whole rocker boogie system, it's going to have to put up with my driving. So that's then on there like that. Right, yes, you do have to have it the right way up because it won't go all the way around because of that nut sticking out the top there. So yeah, that's the wrong way up. Make sure you get it the other side. So I shall get the other side done up the same and get this the right way around and come back and show you that when it's ready. Right, that's both of those sides of those on. I did have these actually the wrong way around. This is obviously the left. As you're looking, the eyes are at the front. So the left is this side because the bracket has to come out the bottom of that, not the top. So that needs to go on that side. Next up, we've got this part that fits across here using, again, 10mm screws, a washer, a screw, washer, then into that hole on the plate, and then onto another nut on the inside. Right way around. One on there. Use the right size nut. Driver on the inside there. Cool. Again, it tightens up and then loosens off a little bit because it needs a bit of play on there. I don't know exactly what this bit is. It's some sort of stability something, but I don't know. That on there, and again, just the quarter turn back off. And that attaches using, again, same screws, same nuts, same washers to these bits. So screw, washer, through that bit, and the nut on that side. Find it easier to get that started a little bit by hand, and then obviously to do it of any tightness you need the tools, but by hand is a lot easier just to make sure it fits in properly, lines up right. So once again, that needs to be tightened and then loosened. So it's got that bit of play. Same on the other side. So we've got screw, washer, bracket, second side's always going to be a little bit tighter getting lined up, and then nut, there. More stability and getting everything right. Go, that is that one. Right, then loose. So, yeah, as that goes forward, that makes the other one something to do with like a self-leveling bit somehow. I don't know exactly how it's going to work because that as that goes up over or something, it makes that one go down because that's going to be going up. But that I'm sure it works, but that's how it works. Last pieces of the Rockaboogie system are these going onto there. They're going like W formation onto there with the knot piece going towards that because that's going to prevent that from overbalancing, overturning. So we need a nut through there and then these acrylic washers, which you can only just see on camera, no doubt. More spacers than washers. That one onto there. And again, a nut on the inside of that. Like so. Right way round. Tighten that side. Once again, tight, then loosen it off so it can move. Nice and freely. The same on the other side. I shall get that done now. That 2 washers on there. Nut. In place. On there and tightened up and then loosened off. And that is the entirety of the Rockaboogie system. Boogie rocker system. I can't remember which way around it should be. But that is that. So they're nice and loose. And move. It looks cool when it moves the other side as well. That is that. So that gives us the ability for it to climb over obstacles and stay balanced by the words of it. I like it a lot. So that is that. Next up, we need to attach the battery to it and then start putting boards on and then motors. So, yeah, let me get the next parts ready. And I think actually we'll have a look at the coding part of it, maybe. I'll see which order we're going to do it in. So I'll see you for the next bit in just a sec. Okay, we start the next lesson with the board. This is a Arduino Uno R3 board, I think they call it. But basically it's the supplied board with the kit. It's a small Arduino kit board, which is suitable. I've used similar in the past. I don't think I've used exactly the same version, but it's all basically quite similar. So what we're going to be doing is having a look at the course, lesson 3, entering the world of Arduino and coding. Coding is the important thing here. This is what we're going to be doing. This is how we're programming the rover to do what it needs to do. A little animation there of the coding going on. We'll have a look, course objectives, course materials, the steps, introduction to Arduino. If you want to pause and read all these words, or indeed go to the website and read them yourself, feel free. Arduino is, in course, open source, so it's free to use, free to develop on. There's nothing to be paid on there. Microcontroller is obviously the main chip that controls the board. development boards, different things. This is the R3, I think, is the one we're using. There are other ones, the Arduino 1, the Mega, the Micro, Zero. They're all good stuff. The IDF, the teaching classroom for the Arduino, it's a program that runs on your computer. I've got that installed already, although I did have to update it to the latest version. Well, I suppose I didn't have to, but it's always good to keep the latest version up and running. So yes, the Sunfounder R3 board. This is what we've got here. I've got it the other way around when you saw it, but yeah, basically it's got power in, it's got a USB connection, reset button, different pins to do different things, none of which we need to worry about because we're going to be using what they call a shield, which goes over the top and basically uses all the pins itself. Digital pins and analog pins, obviously for doing different things. I've installed Arduino, so we don't need to look at that. So let's get straight to it. First thing we're going to do is install the first sketch that we use, the Blink sketch. I've already plugged that in. Up and running. That looks like the Blink sketch. Let's go straight to the coding screen so you can see what I am doing. This is the sketch that we have. This is blink.io. .ino. Basically, it uses the onboard LED. I think this bottom one here is the power one. This is the pin 13, which there isn't a pin 13. It just uses this. Turn it around so it's the same way around as it was in the picture. So in case you're comparing things, this is the onboard light, which is useful for these things. So in this serial, you can see where we got it's set up pin mode and things. I have done a series, the 30 Days Lost in Space, is a bit more about coding. So if you want to go and have a look at that, then that gives you a bit more in depth about the coding things. I think next time we're going to be playing with it a little bit more. So basically, all I need to do is compile that sketch. It says it's all okay, which is always nice. Then we'll upload it, and you'll see what happens. We get some transmission lights coming on, and then that LED starts to blink. That's what we told it to do. Blink is a useful code for just a test, basically, to make sure the communication is right. You've got the right board selected and everything like that. So I'm happy that that's working. So that is basically, as far as I can tell, all we need to do on there. In a different place than it is on theirs. If I go back to share their screen of this, they've got that one flashing up here, but mine's flashing down here. It'll be different as well. I've got a different chips layout to theirs. Mine has smaller chip there instead of the big one across the bottom, so sure it's okay. Yeah, it's doing what it needs to do. So that's that. It's got fun facts about Arduino programming. I don't know how fun they actually are, but there we go. Making sure punctuation matters. Make sure you get it all right on there. Putting notes into your code. It's all a good resource for learning and doing stuff. Reflect and improve. There we go. So that is that. Onwards and upwards. Lesson 4. Mastering the TT motor. So for that, we need some more stuff. What we need, the shield board and the battery, and indeed a motor. I haven't got the motor prepped. I shall find the motor and some way of indicating where it's working. We'll get that ready. I'll unplug this and get it cleared so we know what we're doing. So yeah, won't be a sec. Right. So here we have the components required. We've got, as I said, the shield, which is unique to this. It's indeed marked as a Galaxy rover. And this has multiple pins on the back, which basically occupy all of the pins on the board there. That will go in there like that. does the job. It looks nice as well. I'm quite happy with how that goes together. Onto that, we are going to be plugging some power. I have fully charged the battery already, so that's all good stuff. To charge it, we basically plugged it into this board and plugged in a USB-C above the other USB there on this board to charge that up. So that's that, good to go. We have one of the 6 motors, which we're going to plug into the first socket there. I think there's 3 for the left and 3 for the right. It doesn't matter which way around they go. So that's that. Now onto this motor, I've got the adapter. Goes on there. Spacer and adapter. And I'm going to put the wheel on, because that will give us an indication that it's working, and it's the easiest thing I've got to hand. So that is that. Let's plug this back in. We now get extra lights on the board. Well, extra board. This board has a switch on it, which doesn't do anything at the moment, but I think it's basically a power switch for the entire thing, but we'll find out in a moment. I have got the sketch that they have selected already uploaded. Basically, it's pin mode output, and then digital write 2 and 3. I don't know. It's basically saying turn it on, I think. So let me upload that. And with any luck, there we go. That has indeed started turning. So we know the battery's good, the motor's good, and it does the thing. Quite quick. So there we have that. How do I stop it? In theory, I could put it to low, or I can just unplug it. I think that's probably going to see what the switch does. I mean, actually, the switch does nothing. Okay. I think unplugging it from the computer will probably do nothing as well, because no, it does. Okay. Not entirely certain now then, but yeah, there we go. So it was in fact the board getting its power from the computer at the moment. Well, that should be getting it from this, I'd have thought. Ah, there's another switch over the other side. Right. There we go. This switch then. I've completely forgotten. There's an extra switch on there. I don't know what that does. But yeah, that would work now. Not connected to the computer, because we're getting power from our battery pack, and the board has already saved the information. The sketch has been uploaded to it, so that's how that works now. So yeah, that's quite cool. That works. Let's go back to the online resources. That's where I got the code from. So it just says about that. Once the code has been uploaded, you see the motor starts to rotate clockwise. Yep. About circuit internal connections, I'm not going too deep into all of that. If you want to test another drive chip, you change the pins to different socket, I think. That stuff about drive logic as well. There we go. Once you've written your code and uploaded it to Arduino board, the motor will behave as instructed. Yeah. So you can tell it different things. The internal driving logic: standby, clockwise, counterclockwise, or brake. That's interesting. Let's try and make them clockwise for 2 seconds, counterclockwise for 2 seconds, and then stop. Yeah, let's grab that. So I'm going to grab all of that text. We'll copy that. Let's put that into our sketch. Let's test that. Make sure there's no errors in that. That's all copied in properly. Plug this back in, because otherwise we can't upload the new info to it. Right way up. That's always helpful. I want to get all the wires wrapped up. So that's still running the old sketch. Let's upload the new one, and then it gets it. And it should start to run. It's not doing that. Why is that? Let's see. Have I got something different? Working, so I know that was still getting power and stuff to it. Take the wheel off, so if it does start going, it's not going to go all over the place. Not sure. Let's try sending it out again just in case. Loading, done compiling, done uploading. Why is that not doing what it should do? Let me have a quick break while I have a look at the code and see if I can figure out what it's doing. Right, I figured it out. You can see now does exactly what it said to do. 2 seconds clockwise, 2 seconds anti-clockwise. That is because I neglected a step where it said to test the other drive motor. So it's using not the first 3 are the one drive chip, the second 3 are the other drive chip, the other side basically. So it was sending information to stuff that had nothing plugged into it. So there you go. That's why that was that. So now it's not doing anything, but if I turn it on, it will start doing it again. Right. So yes, I understand why that was doing that and how that was doing that now. All good stuff. So yeah, let's go back to where we were. Getting all this sorted out. That's that. Motor speed be quite useful. Power management we've got to do. Enter into the following code. Motor rotate clockwise. In the code above, that initialize the library. I need to use a library. Now, libraries are things that are basically lists of commands that are already programmed in. So I need to install that and get that up and running. Lots of other stuff in there. I'm not going to go deep into this, but the coding and everything is a very deep and interesting phase, but not for me today. I'm going to get on and build this. I might well come back and look at this later in the day though. So yeah, always good stuff, but not for me quite today. Let's have a look. We've got unleashing the mobility. I haven't built that bit yet. Is that going to tell me? No, it's telling me that's what I'm going to be doing, and that's how it's going to be working. I'm interested and eager to get it all working. So yeah, let's have a look. We're going to be looking at a video to assemble the components, the next set of components, basically putting the motors on, and then setting it in motion. Car in motion there, in case you didn't know what motion was. So we then need to send more code to the rover. Right, rotating motors in the same direction. Right, what I'm going to do is get this all installed onto the base that we created. So all of this now is separate, but we need to get that installed onto the main frame and get the wheels on. So let's get the next build section done and then come back and do a bit more of the coding stuff. Okay, I am prepped and ready to go with the next step, which is getting this all assembled together onto the frame. We've got the Velcro, which will hold the battery in place. We need to peel off backing from one side of that. That goes on there. It is already pre-marked. Nice. Get off the other side of the backing of the other piece of Velcro. And the battery will sit on that. Like that. Don't drop it. Try again. Goes in there, in the middle. A bit like that. And that should then be able to be removed if you need to. go. Make sure it's stuck down securely on both sides. Nice. Then that will come through that hole. Ready to be plugged in to the board. The board is the next piece. Get it the right way round. So we've got, obviously this is the back, that's the front. So towards the back, we've got, to get the board, we've got these 4 spacer nuts that go in here. Get in the right place. The board's going to go there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, where I thought they were going to go. They go on there. Third one there. In the last hole. Those all down. Probably going to be size of that. They don't need to be silly tight because they're not going to be going anywhere, but it's always nice to use the correct tool for the job. One there. One there. One and the last one. Like so. Then the board will sit over the top of that. And we've got 4 screws to hold that in place. Always nice when the designers of boards and things take into account that you're going to need to mount it to something. So have convenient locating screw holes and things already fitted. There we have that. All those lined up and in, and then go back and tighten it all up, just like building anything else. Always worth making sure everything lines up before you tighten up the first one. Here we have that. Going to be driving around, so you do want to make sure it fits securely. It's not going to rattle around while he's going off-road. There we go. Then we need to plug in our board again. All pins line up in the right places. It goes on there. We've got the power now from the battery fitted underneath. Up the top there. Sure that still works. Good. Then we need the motor. So 6 motors got to be fitted. I'm going to fit one now, and then you'll obviously see how the rest of them go on anyway. They're going to fit onto here, here, and here. These ones basically go. Which one does it tell me to do first? Doesn't really tell me. Oh, it does actually. It's got a picture of that. It's going on the front here. Right, so you've got 2 holes through there. So I've got 2, 2, and 2. So yeah, the screw goes through there. That then goes through there. On the back of that, you've got a sprung washer this time. Like that. And then a normal nut, not a self-locking nut, will go on there. So that was that one. The same through the other side. So the pin, the The screw goes through, then the washer, then the nut. That tightened up properly, just the same as ever. Nut on one side, screwdriver through the other side. Tightened up, and the same on the other one. Manipulating things around to get the angles right, to be able to use screwdrivers and tools and stuff. There we have it. That's that. The cables will actually route up and go through this little bracket here, like that. That holds them secure out of the way. And this one obviously goes onto this side. Put the 3 on this side, 3 on the other side. I'm going to put this on the closest one because it's the longest stretch, I think. Although that one might be. This one's certainly going to be the closest one, so I use that to go into the one furthest on the other side. That is that. Make sure those wires are routed properly. Then the last bit is to put the wheel on, which uses the other screw that I've prepared and the bracket that's already there. So that goes on. I've put the motor on the wrong way round. I knew I'd do something idiotly wrong. Right, that needs to turn round. Let me turn that round and then show you how the wheel goes on. Okay, there we go. That's on the right way around now, and it gives these wires a little bit more a little bit more room to play with, so that will go quite easily to the next one along. The wheel itself, as I say, has got the spacer on there as well. So that goes on there. They're only go on 2 ways round, like that. And then the screw right through the center. Hold it secure onto the motor. Wires will make sure that they get out of the way. I think there's going to be a wrap that's going to hold them in place anyway. So there we go. Right, let me get the other 5 all assembled, and then we'll see how it looks and see about getting that programming done. The library, installed the library, fitted all the wheels on obviously as well, so we're good to go. It now has power management, so if I turn it on, it starts slow and ramps up. So although it's a digital output, we still have the ability to control it analogically by rapidly turning it on and off, basically. So that's how that works. I've got the new sketch uploaded, ready to go, which is the one that makes it drive around. So if I do that and then quickly upload that, it will stop it from making that noises and doing that. Then if we go forwards, backwards. Okay. No, I might have uploaded the wrong one. Alright, let me stop that from making all that noise and see what it's doing. Oh, it was functioning exactly as intended. I just got confused by it saying clockwise and anti-clockwise, but they need to turn in different directions because they're on different sides. So they'll make that was making it go forwards, which it was indeed. It's just powered to make it go forwards. What we do need is the other instruction set. Concept of reversing. It's basically to turn them on the other way around, which is pretty obviously. Making it move in other directions is what I'm going to be looking at. Let's grab that screen out and have a look and show you what that is on there. Okay, making it go in different directions. First in one clockwise and another clockwise. Different speeds on each side. But yeah, we've got that set to 40, 0, and 0 and 200. So that will be going in an arc. I'm not going to do that. I haven't got room to run it around on the bench here anyway. or rotating the motors in the same direction is obviously going to be spinning on the spot. Let me do that one, because that's going to be a useful one to look at and test. Let me grab all of that, just the code. I shall copy that and chuck that into, there we go, into the sketch we've got over here. Oh, I just copied it again. Damn. Right, copy that. Then I can grab sketch back again and paste it onto there. So if I plug this back in, it's going to go crazy. But I can then upload this, and one set of the motors will be going the opposite direction. So this one is going forwards, and that one is in fact going backwards. So if I was to put it down, it would spin around, which I might be able to do. I've basically got just about enough room for it to do that, I think. Let's put it there and turn it on and see. Yeah, basically, it's trying to. Not quite got enough room to do it, but yeah. Nice. I like it. I understand what it's doing. I know. Oh, just remember, you were looking at the wrong thing. You couldn't see it do that. Let's try that again. There we go. It's because it's falling off the bench. It's sort of trying to manipulate its wheels into different positions, but yeah, there we go. So that's what that does. I think we then, moving in all directions, we've got a big sketch to copy across. Let's have a look at that. Separate functions. So we've got open code, download sketch. I don't really want to download it. I want to open the code. I don't know what I'm doing there. No, I don't want to open the cloud. Let's not do that. Let's just grab it. That's the easiest way. We'll include the software thing. Grab all of that. Copy that into our sketch. Here. Rid of that. Paste over the top of that. Right. So this should be making it do lots of different things. Upload that. Right. This is going, yeah, forwards, backwards, turn, I think. Yeah, forward, backwards, turn, turn. That's what it was doing in the picture. So look, right, forwards, backwards, turn, and turn the other way. Exactly what it should be doing. Like it, I understand it. It's just simply telling it which motors to activate in which order. Again, I wasn't showing you the actual thing doing it. Let's try that again. I don't need to plug it in anymore because the sketch is already uploaded. So all I have to do is turn it on and it will go forwards, backwards, it will turn, and it will turn the other way. There we go. Exactly as intended. I'm liking it. I am liking it quite a lot. It's helping to understand a little bit more of what's going on there as well. So, yeah. Then we've got the other section about sharing and reflection, looking back on that. So, yeah. The next lesson, we're going to be exploring the obstacle avoidance module and indeed installing it. So, I'm going to call that a day for this video. It seems like a good place to stop. We've got the main chassis built, the wheels on, it's powered and motored and working. We've got to start to the coding. So yeah, next time we're going to make it a bit more intelligent. We're going to be adding sensors to it so it knows what it's doing, where it is, and what's going on. But for now, that is that. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you're enjoying it. Do let me know if you are. Let me know if you're not as well. And I shall see you very soon. The next video in this series where we should be getting it all finished. So, thanks for watching. Stay safe. I'll see you soon.